So I think we can get started. Once again, our own very wonderfully talented Joe Davidian, who is going to play some African American spirituals and do what he does best and really help us to feel this moment in time. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much, Joe. That was truly, truly beautiful. Truly a wonderful way to come into this very, very special Shabbat in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. Um, Thank you. Thank you so much. Ooh, ya la la, ya la la, ya. Oh, ya la la, ya la la, ya. Olam chesed yibalei. Ya la la, ya la la, ya. Olam chesed yibalei. Ya la la, ya la la, ya. Olam chesed yibalei. Ya la la, ya la la, ya. Olam chesed yibalei. Ya la la, ya la la, ya. I will build this world from love. Ya la la, ya la la, ya. And you must build this world from love. Ya la la, ya la la, ya. And if we build this world from love, ya la la, ya la la, then God will build this world from love. Ya la la, ya la la, ya la ya la la, ya la la, Shabbat Shalom. Lois, you are muted. Lois, you're still muted.
Sorry. You shall have one law for the stranger and the citizen alike, for I, Adonai, am your God.
Barry, you're muted.
You're muted, Barry.
Jews and Civil Rights Movement, Tikkun Olam.
Jewish women in civil rights movement, Tikkun Olam.
Black women in the civil rights movement, Tikkun Olam.
Shabbat Shalom. This month, our nation is facing hatred and violence unlike anything in most of our lifetimes. Attacking the core of democracy, the very essence of free elections and the Constitution, bringing violence into our nation's capital. These events have not appeared out of nowhere. For years, hatred, anger, and discrimination have been sown from our national leaders against women, immigrants, Black people, all people of color, Jews, LGBTQ individuals, the disabled, and more and more. Now that the attacks have turned on the House and the Senate, finally some have broken their silence and complicity by speaking up about the vitriol and cruelty we've seen every day for years. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. fought his whole life for civil rights, facing down incredible violence and hatred that took his life. He knew the silence of so many in the face of discrimination and calls to arms were signs of cowardice. Dr. King said in 1967, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." Let each of us speak out and insist that those in political power repudiate not just despicable attacks on our capital, but discrimination and violence against any and all of us. Tonight, our social action team has prepared a powerful service reflecting on the message and influence of Dr. King. Dr. King taught us, returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So we begin with light. As we invite Michelle Blayfetter, a member of our social action team and co-chair of our LGBTQ team, to lead our candle blessing.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I've been practicing, so hopefully I don't mess up. So let's do this. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Michelle. And leading us in our Kiddush tonight is, you were too quick, is Henry Drangle. Give me a minute to get him up on the screen. There we go. Hi, Henry.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon himchelanu, zicharo lema'aseh v'reishi, Hu yom techila lemichra kodesh, zecher litziar mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, Hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. Thank you, Henry.
Let us please take 30 seconds to sit in silence and contemplate what it means to remain silent in the face of African Americans who live in fear in their communities. Rabbi Joachim Prince spoke before Martin Luther King did at the March on Washington, saying, "When I was the rabbi of the Jewish community in Berlin under the Hitler regime, I learned many things. The most important thing that I learned under those most tragic circumstances was that bigotry and hatred are not the most urgent problem. The most urgent, the most disgraceful, the most shameful, and most tragic problem is silence.
We sing together Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmi'alnu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, u'shmo echad, L'shemo tifarat, ve'mitila, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki hi mekor haberacha, Meirosh mikedem nasucha, Nasucha, Sof ma'asa, B'machshava techila, Boi v'shalom, Ateret bala, Gam besimcha, U'tzola, Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala, Boi chala.
Please rise for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamivorach. Baruch Adonai hamivorach leolam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamivorach leolam va'ed.
Please be seated.
Rabbi Eugene Borowitz, in a prison in St. Augustine, with 16 other rabbis, wrote on the back of a letter, "We came because we could not stand quietly by our brother's blood. We had done that too many times before. We have been vocal in our exhaustion of others, but the idleness of our hands too often revealed an inner silence. Silence at a time when silence has become the unpardonable sin of our time. We came as Jews who remember the millions of faceless people who stood quietly, watching the smoke rise from Hitler's crematoria. We came because we know that, second only to silence, the greatest danger to man is the loss of faith in man's capacity to act."
How could there be anti-Semitism among Negroes when our Jewish friends have demonstrated their commitment to the principle of tolerance and brotherhood, not only in the form of sizable communications, but in many other tangible ways, and often at great personal sacrifice. It would be impossible to record the contribution that the Jewish people have made toward the Negro struggle for freedom. It has been so great.
Please rise for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam, Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated. Join with me together in the V'ahavta from your own homes. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol levavcha v'kol nafshecha u'v'kol meodecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivteka b'veiteka uvlekteka v'derech u'shokbeka uvkumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher Hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, v'hiot lachem lelohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet.
Jewish women in the civil rights movement. Miriam Cohen Glickman, jailed in the summer of 1963, joined other civil rights activists in a week-long hunger strike. After reading this story, Julia Clardy, a high school student, wrote, "It's common to feel helpless in times when racial injustice, while always present, is particularly prevalent. Police brutality towards Black and brown people in the United States is impossible to ignore. As a white person, I feel it is my responsibility to use my platform to elevate the voices of others and make sure their struggles and stories are heard. At times, the Jewish people have been targeted, and too often have we faced silence from those with the power to help. Therefore, as Jews, we cannot remain silent when others are targeted. We know where that leads."
Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, norarti lot osefele, norarti lot osefele. Malchutecha ra'uv alecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, zeh Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. And we continue with our teen choir singing Hashkivenu. Let's just give them a moment to unmute themselves, and then we will be able to start. Sloan, take it away.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom.
V'ha'amidenu shomrenu lechayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen.
Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai.
Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light.
Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Thank you to our teen choir for another beautiful display of love and sharing with that performance and that sharing of our prayer, Hashkivenu. We turn to our center section of worship in our service, the Tefillah, and we invite you all to please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Komel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chastei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei v'lehem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata giboy leolam Adonai, Mechayei hakol, Ata rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach umorit hakashem, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishelei afar michamocha בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמנת על החיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Together, you are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el, hakadosh. Please be seated.
We give thanks for Black women in the civil rights movement, many of whom were unsung heroes, such as Minister Dr. Pauli Murray, who was arrested for refusing to move to the back of the bus in Petersburg, Virginia, 15 years before Rosa Parks, who organized restaurant sit-ins in Washington, D.C., 20 years before the Greensboro sit-ins, and served as a bridge between the civil rights and women's rights movements, who was responsible for the legal argument that led to the ruling by Justice Thurgood Marshall that separate but equal was unconstitutional, and who wrote States' Laws on Race and Color, the unofficial Bible for civil rights lawyers.
We offer a prayer for peace. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki Ata Melech Adon Lechol Hashalom. Ki Ata Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov be'lecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Baruch atah Adonai Hamivarech et amo Yisrael Bashalom.
We offer up our own private prayers as we are inspired by the words of Dr. King. Now our teen choir will share for us Better Days.
Baby, there's a war right outside our window. Can't you hear the people fighting for their lives? Baby, there's a war right outside our window, but it's gonna be alright, long as I got you and me. In your arms I'll find my shelter, deep in your love I will hide. Baby, you and me, stop the world when we're together. You'll find a way to take my mind. Hoping for better days, days where things are better. Better days, need some better days.
Hoping for better days, days where things are better. Hoping for better days, need some better days.
I can hear the sirens right outside our window, and I can hear the children crying while their mothers cry. I'm praying for the people right outside our window, hoping they find peace at night, just like you and me.
In your arms I find my shelter, deep in your love I will hide. Baby, you and me, stop the world when we're together. You find a way to take my mind. Hoping for better days, days where things are better. Hoping for better days, need some better days. Hoping for better days, need some better days, hoping for better, hoping for better days, need some better days. So how are we gonna stop the violence, stop the hurting, stop the hatred, stop the murders? We're all human, that's for certain. Come together, we deserve it. What kind of life will our babies have if we don't change up and make it last? It starts right here, starts right now. We'll love and hope for better days, days where things are better, better days, need some better days.
Better days,
Better days,
better days,
better days,
better days.
better days, better days, better days, better days.
Thank you, Teen Choir. That was really, really beautiful. Thank you all so, so much.
With that music of healing in our hearts, we turn to a prayer of healing, looking for hope and connection for all of those who need our strength. We think of the thousands upon hundreds of thousands facing off with COVID-19 each day and all that we might do to help make their lives better. If there's someone in your life you're thinking of for healing and you want to share their name with us, please put it into the chat at this time so we can think of all of those who need our strength. As a temple community, we're especially thinking of our members, Elaine Wall, Helen Schloss, Rochelle Weinberger, Ronnie Heller, Jamie Stern, Joan Lipton, Arlene Green, Hans Alexander, Sadie Rosenkrantz, Elise Leibowitz, Roberta Traeger, Hazel Cohen, Jody Ann Herman, Donald Levy. And we're also thinking of Michael Soloway, Heshu Eisen, and the Ellis family. So we add those names to the names that are in our chat and in our hearts. We join together in this Mishaberach for healing. Amen.
A poem by Willow Hudson. The world is so cruel. When will we ever find peace on earth? We scream, we yell, wanting to make a change, but it seems as if we are getting nowhere. I'm hurting, full of rage, waiting for the world to turn its page, but I am still waiting. If we all just came together, we could make a difference. Let's put our hands together and become a team, fighting for justice and every cause in between. We keep on doing what we are doing, then more people will be dead. So let's come together peacefully and fight together to the very end. As we turn into the breakout room, let's consider this question. How can we in the Jewish community undertake
So as we turn to breakout rooms now to share our question, the question's in the chat. How can we in the Jewish community undertake action so we are all equally heard? Join with fellow members of your temple in sharing in different breakout rooms.
am. So I'm muted now, I guess. I guess I'm muted now.
Hello, Karen. Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, I'm not muted.
You're not muted.
Shalom.
We're going to mute everybody in a second, but it's always good to hear you and
That's
hear how
great.
you're doing.
I love the way you say Amen after the Misha Berach. I think that is so neat.
Are you doing okay?
Yes, thank you, I am.
Good. Well, I'm thinking about you.
But
We all are.
well,
So I'm
that's
glad to hear
great,
you're
and
doing all right.
That's terrific, thank you.
So we actually are going to
I
mute
really-
everybody now. So I'll talk to you later.
Okay, great.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. But just keep saying Amen, that's great.
You got it.
It's important for us to also understand that the phrase Black Lives Matter simply refers to the notion that there's a specific vulnerability for African Americans that needs to be addressed. It is not meant to suggest that other lives don't matter. It's to suggest that other folks aren't experiencing this particular vulnerability. President Barack Obama.
Even when facing darkness, there is light. Good things have happened to us and in our country, and we prepare for good things coming up ahead. If something good has happened to you or your family in recent days, it's important we focus on that too and give that strength and meaning alongside the sad and the painful. So if there's something, a simcha that's happened to you or your family, please put it in the chat so we can all see the strengths that each other are drawing. So we got a lot of good things going on, puppies and vaccines, graduations and recoveries from illness, birthdays. A lot about vaccines, which I think will be part of our simchas for many months to come. We will be wonderfully sharing that today. More birthdays, more cats. Wonderful how many pets are being rescued during this quarantine. And even a loose tooth. We have to make sure to focus on the beautiful things in our lives. If all we focus is on the negative, then why do we need a world at all? Why do we need to change anything if it's just all bad? So focus on the good, the beautiful, the wonderful too. Don't let either one dominate completely, but use each, the light and the dark, to give strength to each other and inspire us for what we're doing. We share so beautifully with good things to each other. We move now to our concluding blessing, beginning with the Aleinu, and we invite everyone to please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. There are so many names that fill our hearts tonight. Those of our own loved ones who have passed away in recent days and weeks, those whose yahrzeits occur at this time. We think of all of those who have died in our country and across the world from COVID and from other illnesses and wars. We think of all of those taken in civil rights, those who were victims, those who were attacked because of their race or religion or their sexual orientation or for any other reason. We think of all of the people who fill our hearts, and we share some names. If you have names in your mind, names that are in your heart right now and tonight, please add them into the chat so we can see who we're all thinking of tonight. This week marks the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the passing of Bessie Abel, Eugene Adler, Erwin Anderson, Lila Bernstein, George Cohen, Lorraine Cooperman, Nina Kosminski, Lillian Daniel, William James Davidson, Joseph Del Borgo, Ruth Diamond, Michael Diamond, Janet Jemshadoff, Lenore Druth, Martin Feig, Irving Fish, Ruth Folkman, Helen Goldberg, Hyman Golub, Isidore Gomberg, Rachel Gordon, Annie Grayson, Pincus Grebel, Richard Hain, Harry Harvey, Sally Herman, Samuel Itzkowitz, Moishe Kerbel, Sam Kraut, Sidney Kraut, Mildred Marcus, George Miller, Adolf Molstein, Mark Nuremberg, Isaac Pincus, Victor Raber, Naomi Reich, Sarah Reichstein, Milton Rosenthal, Rita Schwartz, Lenore Solomon, Rose Stark, Ilse Strauss, Sarah Swerdling, Max Wagner, Howard Wasco, Libo Weidenfeld. And I am missing the other sheet. So while we continue to type names in, I'll pull up the other sheet. Sorry about that. Give me a second. We also are thinking of those who passed away just in recent days and weeks. Lester J. Macklin, father of Ann Macklin. Eric Bosch, father of Elise Sisolak. Ken Mitchell, friend of Lois Silverman. Mark Miller, cousin of Martin Wolf. Sarah Burton, friend of Roberta Traeger. Audrey Cohn, friend of Alvin Callow. We remember George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery. We remember. We will no longer be silent. We remember Rosa Parks, for she was not silent. We remember Martin Luther King, for he was not silent. We remember and will not be silent. We join together in the mourner's Kaddish. If you wish to join the community sharing the prayer out loud, please unmute yourself. Please rise. We'll take a moment to let everybody unmute themselves before we begin. Yitgadal, May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to every broken heart among us. And let us say, Amen.
Amen. Shalom bimromav uyah.
Please be seated. Now some words from our temple president, Neil Rosenblatt.
Good evening, my friends, and Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, as always, to Rabbi Kaiser and Cantor Pincus, Alan and Alvin and Faye, and the entire RTFH tech team for the work they do behind the scenes that allow us to enjoy our time together every time we get together. We're going to go through a couple of musical shout-outs here for tonight. First to our teen choir for lending their voices to our service tonight, and their incredible rendition of Victoria Monet's Better Days. It was really terrific and very, very poignant for our times here. And to Joe Davidian, who's amazing on a regular day, but his jazzed up interpretations of songs associated with the civil rights movement really helped set the tone for our services in a way that, for me, really just defies description. And speaking of musical contributions, Cantor, I would be remiss if I didn't thank you for your haunting and poignant version of the Chadodi, set to the sounds of silence, and your interpretation of Micha Mocha to the gospel classic Amazing Grace. The contributions our social action team lent to our services this evening speak both to their connection to the message that Dr. King spread and the values that are the lifeblood of our synagogue. Coming soon to an RTFH Zoom event near you, we've got Torah study tomorrow morning at 9. And then in about a week and a half, we have our Tu B'Shvat Seder. That's on the 30th, January 30th at 10. If you check the e-blast, there's information on how to get your free Tu B'Shvat Seder kit so we can enjoy the fruits of the harvest together. And later that night, also on the 30th, we have the RTFH Parents Association and Women's Connection joining forces to present our game night. That'll be at 6:30 that night. I leave you tonight with a verse of song, and don't worry, guys, I'm not going to sing, and a quote. When Sam Cooke wrote these words in '64, it was in response to him and his family being turned away from a whites-only motel in Louisiana. The words still ring true and provide us all with a little bit of optimism. Then I go to my brother, and I say, brother, help me, please, but he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Oh, there have been times that I thought I couldn't last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know a change is going to come. Oh, yes, it will. Take care of yourselves and, more importantly, each other. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Neil. Just a reminder, there is no religious school this Sunday. Thank you, Dr. King Day. No religious school. Well, we want to start moving towards the conclusion of our service, and we're going to do that first with sharing some of getting ready for our virtual oneggs. So if you have a challah, now's a good time to bring it and put it up in front of the screen, and we'll get some help from Leah and Cantor and me, and we will try and spot as many of the challahs as we can. Let's see. There's one. It's like a game show. It's like The Price is Right with challah. So, well, thank you for everybody who brought a challah, and sorry if we missed anybody. And anyone who wants to unmute themselves can feel free to, and we will all join together in the motzi as one big community. So unmute yourself if you want to join us in the motzi. Give it a couple seconds. I'll count off. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Baruch atah Teavon, everyone. And Susan and Stanley, as always, great to see the two of you.
Okay, put it away. Put it next week.
Put it away for next week.
There you go.
Put it away for
Right,
next week.
things.
Put it away for next week. Go ahead.
Letter to my brother John from Hedis Tobias Booth, a Jewish community organizer living in Mississippi. We are not afraid, O Lord. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. And then I began to truly understand what the words meant. Anybody who comes down and is not afraid, I think, must be crazy. But this type of fear that they mean when they when they sing "We Are Not Afraid" helps to dissipate the fear. Some of the words do not hold real meaning on their own, but when they are sung in unison, they take on new meaning beyond words. There is almost a religious quality, having little to do with the usual concept of God. It has to do with the holiness and dignity of man.
We shall overcome, doing it hand in hand, not being afraid, living in peace. And so, as is our custom at the end of Martin Luther King, and we're not going to let a pandemic change our custom, we're going to end our service by singing We Shall Overcome. What we'd like you to do is put yourself on gallery view, if you know how to do that. So you're at least seeing a few other people and not just yourself. And then take your hands and reach out to the sides. And we are virtually holding hands across the boxes with each other. And Cantor will guide us in the words to our ending song.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we'll walk hand in hand someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We will live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall live in peace someday. Shabbat shalom.
We shall overcome together. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Bye. Shabbat shalom.
Wow.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
That's a beautiful service. Thank you, Social Action Committee. You did a beautiful job.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Ken.
Hi, Jerry.
Hey, everybody. Great job.
Doing?
Shalom.
Good.
Jerry, it
Much
worked
shalom.
beautifully. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good job, you guys.
Nina, are you there
Shalom,
somewhere?
everybody.
Thank you,
Lois,
Rabbi.
Jerry,
Remember, go to work.
Sue, a whole social action team. You were amazing.
The
Amazing.
team is wonderful, guys. You guys job, guys. Very proud of you all.
We try.
Gina,
No,
Lois,
you didn't want to try.
Larry.
You came from your heart. You guys came from your heart.
Beautiful service. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Hi.
Bye, Barbara.
Hello.
Kiss her on morning tourist, Daddy.
Yep.
See you
Thanks,
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Joyce, on Monday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Joyce.
Happy birthday, Joyce.
Marsha
birthday,
Barnett
Joyce.
said that.
Yeah.
Happy
birthday, Joyce.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Suzanne, I had my hand on your
Thank
shoulder.
you, Bill.
Song.
You're
Same
welcome.
here, same here, Susan.
We saw you playing
It
along.
was really
I
nice.
had my hand on your shoulder.
We KH people have to stick together.